Okay, honey, let your pee come out.
No.
Sweetie, you gotta let your pee come out.
No way.
Kaya, please let your pee-pee come out.
No way.
Oh,
Jose.
the phone's ringing. It's Aunt Karen. Hi, Aunt Karen.
Hello, darling. How is it going today?
Just trying to, get Kaya to let her pee come out, but she's being so stubborn.
Well, darling, now you see exactly what it was like when we were potty training you.
When starting your potty training journey, some kids have a really hard time releasing their urine and they will hold it for hours and hours. We call these camel kids. If you didn't know this fun fact about camels, many camels hold their urine for up to 8 hours. So if you have a child who is like really holding it in and does not want to let their urine out, that is why I call your child a camel child. Anyways, we are going to dive into this video and talk all about how to help your child get their urine out and pee when they need to pee rather than withhold it. Hey guys, I'm Missy Yondo, your favorite pediatric sleep consultant and potty training coach. I love sharing tips and tricks on how to potty train your child and also how to sleep train your child. I've helped hundreds of families on my journey through Slumber and Bloom, and I would love to help you. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and click the bell to get notifications every time I put out a new video. So today we are going to break it down into different categories. First, we're going to talk about problems that may arise if your child is withholding, exactly how much and for how long your child can hold, and then we're going to talk about solutions to helping your child through withholding their urine. So the top 3 problems that your child may have if they are withholding their urine. Number 1 is a big one and it's probably the most common. So we are going to talk about UTIs, a urinary tract infection. If your child is withholding their urine for too long, they can develop a urinary tract infection. And yes, you are going to have to go to the pediatrician. Your child will have to get antibiotics, and sometimes antibiotics gives children diarrhea. So let's avoid that. Problem number 2 that can occur if your child is withholding their urine is that they may actually weaken their bladder muscles. Now, it would be common to think that if your child is holding their urine longer, that they're probably strengthening their bladder muscles, but it's actually the other way around. If your child is holding it too long, they're actually weakening their muscles, and this can cause problems in the long run. And then number 3 is that the longer your child withholds their urine, the more difficult it's going to be for them to actually relax and release the urine when they finally sit down at the toilet to let it out. Now, I guess I'm going to share an embarrassing story here. So I was probably I was older. I was like 12 or 13, so I wasn't like of potty training age. But when I think about like that difficulty actually letting out your pee when you know you have to pee really bad, it reminds me of when I was like 12, 13 years old and I was at Disney World and we were at like this live Beauty and the Beast performance, and you were not allowed to get up, and you couldn't, like, once the show started, you had to sit the whole show. And I just like remember thinking like, oh my gosh, I should have gone to the bathroom before the show. Oh my gosh, like when the show was over, I could when I stood up and I was like, I don't think my bladder has ever been this full. Like, I need to pee so bad. And like when we actually finally got to the bathroom, I sat down and I couldn't pee. Like, I just could not let it out. So it's important as the parent of a child who may be withholding to think of a time that maybe you can relate to what your child is going through. If your child has been withholding for a really long time, then it can just be really difficult for them to actually let it out when they're ready to sit and let it out. Now, further into this video, we're going to talk about how to help your child relax and actually let it out. But first, I really want to talk about bladder capacity. It's important to have realistic expectations of how much your child can hold and how long they can really realistically hold it for. So really keep in mind how much your child is drinking throughout the day. And I mean, you don't have to measure realistically like how much they're releasing, but obviously do the math. So between 1 and 3 years old, your child can realistically hold 3 to 5 ounces for 1 to 2 hours. Thinking about the beginning of potty training, so 1 to 2 hours, it is very realistic for your child to have to pee that often. But if your child is withholding, we'll get to that in a little bit. Between 4 and 12 years old, your child can hold 7 to 14 ounces in their bladder for 2 to 4 hours. So your child is really building those bladder muscles and they're able to hold quite a bit more for quite a longer amount of time. Now for some perspective, we'll talk about adults for just a teeny tiny second. Typically, adults can hold 16 to 24 ounces for 8 to 9 hours. Now, I know you're probably thinking that realistically, you pee more frequently than every 8 to 9 hours. So keeping that in mind, your child will probably pee more than every 2 to 4 hours. So of course, this is talking about full capacity, and you really don't want your child holding all the way to full capacity. So I like to think of a child's bladder kind of similar to your gas tank in your car. So obviously it's gonna be flip-flopped, and your bladder capacity can be full or it can be empty. Your gas tank can be full or empty. Realistically, you want your gas tank to be full. And when it gets about halfway, you wanna fill it back up. So if you think of a child's bladder, once it gets halfway full, you wanna empty it out. And then you halfway full again and empty it out. Okay, stick with me on this analogy here, but if you let your gas tank get all the way to empty, you're probably gonna run out of gas, right? If you let your child's bladder get all the way to full, they're probably gonna have an accident. So kind of training the body or teaching a child to empty their bladder, you know, every hour, every 2 hours before they're at absolutely full capacity is probably going to result in less accidents in the long run and less anxiety around potty time. So let's talk about some solutions to help your child relax and let out that urine. The number one thing that I love to encourage parents to do, no matter what kind of troubles your child is having in the bathroom, is to have a bottle of bathroom bubbles. Decorate a new label around some regular bubbles and label them as bathroom bubbles. Now these bubbles only stay in your bathroom and they are only for potty time. So your child can blow on the bubbles as they're sitting on the potty. And what this does is it stimulates the same muscles that you're using when you're releasing your urine or poopies. So actually using this strategy may help your child relax on the potty long enough to let their urine out. And I definitely want to reiterate that these are only bathroom bubbles that only stay in the bathroom, because you want it to be something that your child is looking forward to every time they go in the bathroom. So it's not something that they can do all day, anytime, whenever they want to. It has to be specifically at bathroom time. Number 2 is the good old warm water trick. So either put your child's feet in warm water, or you can put their hands in warm water. So you can actually also pour the warm water over your child's genital areas to kind of encourage them to go. If they really don't like this, then don't do it. Personally, I don't do this. I don't encourage it, but I just want to throw it out there that some people do recommend this. I don't love it. But typically, I think just running water or letting your child put their feet in water or their hand in water is typically, enough to do the trick. If you choose to put your child's hands in warm water, you could probably make it more of a fun and engaging activity for your child. Like maybe if you have a child that loves dinosaurs or baby dolls, you can kind of put them in a little basin of warm water, throw some soap in there and ask your child to, wash the dinosaur or wash the baby or something, just to get their mind distracted from oh, this is a trick to get you to go pee. But instead kind of encouraging them by, just distracting them and telling them they're gonna just kind of have some fun activity on the potty. Speaking of distraction, tip number 3 is that you should definitely do whatever you need to do to distract your child. You don't need to sit your child on the toilet and say, you're gonna sit here until you pee, gosh darn it. That's not necessary, and your child is probably gonna end up stressing out, tensing up, and holding it even longer, and then probably having an accident in the living room. So just relax, do what you need to do to distract your child, but you also wanna do what you can do to get your child to laugh, because that is a great way to get your child to release their urine. And then tip number 4 is the good old food coloring trick. This can work with girls or boys. A lot of people encourage this for boys, but obviously girls pee too. And realistically, I teach boys to pee sitting down as well as obviously girls, but this trick can work for either boys or girls. But what you can do is put any color food coloring in the toilet. It really shouldn't stain your toilet, but if you just put the food coloring in the water of your toilet and then tell your child that they have magical pee that will change the color of the toilet water, it works like a charm. So just give it a try. If your child's not into those gimmicky little tricks and it's just they're way too smart to know that my pee is not magic, it's just yellow. Try all of these different solutions and let me know in the comments down below, what do you do to get your child to pee when they just won't pee, but you know they have to? If you have not yet embarked on the potty training journey and you are ready to get started, or you're just ready to see if your child is ready to get started, then go to the description box down below and download my free potty training guide. This is going to give you 5 steps to potty train successfully and quickly the first time so that you don't ever have to go back to diapers. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend because sharing is caring. And make sure you check out these videos over here while you wait for my next video. And I will see you next time. Bye! Why does it like break it down? Okay, take like 20. Number one thing that